So I want to explain to my prospective customers, this is an overseeder. I use it in two different applications. First application is if there's no grass at all, it's a new construction, so it's covering a lawn that's had a finished grade on it. So they bring a bobcat in and level the dirt out, and that gives you a nice bed in order to plant the grass seed. Now when I plant, either whether it's established yard or whether it's new construction, I always go two separate ways with it. So back and forth, or east and west, or north and then north and south. What that gives you is an extreme amount of good coverage. Now if you please step up here, Paige. So before I even start, right here is what we have. It's called a depth meter. So if your yard's uneven and I come across a low spot, I can actually lower this down, and the knives that's underneath this will dig grooves in the ground. And so, but if it's an even lawn, I can usually leave it set as it is. And then I've got a seed graph here on the side of the machine, and it explains on your seed flow. It explains depending on what type of grass you have. Here in the Midwest we have bluegrass and fescue, and then so with each separate one is a little larger of a seed than the other, and I've got a thing called a seed flow, and I can adjust that depending on what the manufacturer says on the bag on how many square foot per thousand to plant. So I use that along with the depth gauge, and then I'm ready to go. And then after I get done, I'll bring my fertilizer spreader out, and so we usually put down a starter fertilizer. In fact, we always put down a starter fertilizer, and after we get that application done, then what the homeowner needs to do is water 3 times a day for only 10 minutes. And by doing that, it'll get your seed wet and it'll be able to germinate. And then a couple of weeks later, you'll have a stand of grass coming up. Now, it may not all come up at once, but eventually, after probably 3 or 4 weeks, you're probably gonna maybe have to mow. And then you'd wanna mow once. I always go once every 10 days until it's in full growth.